Gavin, here we are again. This is part two. Your watch is completed. So this is your same watch that your family paid to have restored your original watch, and I just wanted to go over it with you. It was a lot of fun to do. These are great watches, and your watch has a lot of interesting history built into it. You clearly had it worked on more than once, and it's had a fair amount of work done to it. And but I'm hoping that this one's going to be the keeper for you. This is your original case. It's your original everything. Everything's original. Nothing's been polished, and so this is all the original earned wear of your watch. It's the original indicator ring. If you remember from the first part of the video, your lume was all blackened and dirty because of continual, repeated moisture intrusion. I have relumed the dial and the hands and the indicator ring. So that's all lumed. Everything has been cleaned and restored. The movements have been completely rebuilt, and it's running really well. I'm really pleased with it. It took a fair amount of work, and because the watch had had water in it more than a few times, the movement had some challenges, and unfortunately it also had some bad parts. But let's talk about some of the interesting stuff I found. In the old days, you could just, if a watch had bad parts, especially like bad dials or anything else like that, you could just, call the parts house and they would have extra ones on the shelf and they would just mail you out one. And so your watch is from 1973. That's when the watch itself was made. The dials have date stamps on them, on the back for when they were made. This dial was made in July of 1975. So this was a replacement dial that was put in later on, which is very interesting. Also, the winding bridge was another stock replacement part. Apparently yours had gone bad at a certain point and it was replaced because this is a 6139B version of this movement, the B version. The winding bridge, which is much newer looking than the rest of the movement, is an A version, and it must have been something that the Parts Warehouse had on the shelf, or whoever did the work had on the shelf. Also, interestingly, this watch has had a lot of work done to it, but interestingly, this watch also has a kanji day wheel. This, instead of having what this watch would have been made with, which was a Spanish-English day wheel, this has a Japanese-English day wheel, which is usually for Japanese-only watches. But I went and checked the old database at one of the big major part warehouses, the one that almost everybody uses, and the stock part they list for this American watch is this Japanese-English day wheel. So I'm assuming that what happened is that the person went to Burrell or whomever, and they put in their order, and they got shipped a Japanese-English day wheel, a replacement day wheel, and that's what you got, and that's what's in here. It's functional. It's been in the watch for decades, and so I left it. I could have turned this back into what it was, which was Spanish-English, but I actually thought this was really kind of cool, so I left it. Let's talk about the repeated water moisture intrusion. When water gets into a watch, it can do all kinds of different crazy damage. The water inside this watch all sat in the middle, right in the heart of the watch. And so this is the chronograph wheel. Hang on. This is the chronograph wheel right here. This is the heart of the watch. These chronographs run on these wheels, and there's literally that's a clutch. It's a mechanical clutch with a clutch spring. And that's how you turn the chronograph on and off, is you hit this top button, the bottom button, click. Wait, the top button, click, I'm confused. And these two arms go in, boop, boop, and they compress the clutch spring, and this hand stops. This is the center wheel, and this is the item through that this pinion goes through right here. It's all nested together. It's all part of a thing. All of these were bad. The top wheel is bad. Unfortunately, the chronograph wheel is bad. Unfortunately, because it's a rare and hard to find part, and it's not cheap. But I happen to be able to find one, so you have a new one in there. And both of your coupling levers were bad. There you can see they're all corroded and nasty. Everything is better now. It's all fixed. Everything runs fine. I was able to also actually perform a minor miracle, which is that I was able to get these sweep hands. These are a one-time fit. They're designed to be mated to a single chronograph wheel, and then when the chronograph wheel is replaced, you're supposed to get a new sweep hand and mate it to it. These parts are decades out of production, so I couldn't do that. So I had to use your original hand and reseat it on the new chronograph wheel. That is not an easy thing to do. But I did it. And so what I would suggest, because that hand has been reformed a couple of times, there are things that I suggest for these. These chronograph wheels are expensive, they're hard to find, and they're delicate. Just like riding the clutch in a manual car, you don't want to ride the clutch in your manual chronograph. So leave the chronograph running as much as absolutely possible. Always leave the chronograph running. This helps save this clutch wheel. If you have to reset, if you want to stop and reset the watch, don't reset it from where the big hand's down here. It puts a ton of force into the reset, and it puts strain on both the... I got an email. It puts strain on both the clutch here, and it puts a lot of strain on this incredibly fine, thin aluminum tube that this hand rotates on. And if this tube splits, then the hand is bad. So those are the two things I have to say about that. So leave it running all the time, and if you really want to stop and reset, stop it when it's about here, then stop it, then reset it. That really helps save your watch. Also, the watch is totally clean. The case is clean. It has all new seals in it. I would not recommend putting this watch in or near water at all. The days of being able to easily repair and replace these things because of water damage is long over. And while it has all new seals, the watch is 40 plus years old. Don't put it to the test. Keep it away from water. Keep water out of it. If you see condensation inside for whatever reason, don't panic. Definitely let me know. But there's a couple of things. Like the crystal is held against the crystal seal by this snap-on bezel. Your snap-on bezel, the lip and the case are pretty worn. So it's not being held on. It's being held on firmly. It's not going to come off or anything, but it's not like when it was brand new and it was really being pressed down into the seal. Just keep it away from water. That's what I strongly recommend. We put a lot of work into this watch and a lot of love, and it should keep you for many years now. And just keep it away from water, love it, and enjoy it. And that's about it. Anyway, it was a lot of fun working on this watch. I really enjoyed it. I hope you enjoy it too. Thank you very much.